I'm going to maybe piss off some of my Democratic friends, but I think you can always trust our party to do the wrong thing at the wrong time for the right reason, okay? So here's the problem. Right now, if the Democrats don't do anything and they pass this clean resolution, which they don't want to do, if they did it, guess what would happen this month? Premiums would start going through the roof this month. By the time you get to the end of November, you would have Americans marching in the streets saying, I can't pay 150% more for my insurance premiums. What the heck is going on? Instead, we decided to not let that happen and shut the entire government down. So now people are going to be mad about the post office and 100 other things that Republicans can then blame on us. So I'm like, I get it. The base is upset. The base wants us to do something. Please do something, do anything. But the something probably shouldn't be throwing a bunch of people out of work in the federal government and crushing America's government's ability to function.
So people are always talking about the fact that the country is so divided and everything is so divisive. But I'm just sitting here just ruminating on a couple things. And I notice like the divide is really between people who are informed and people that are not. Politicians are banking on the ignorance of their constituents. And I realize I'll see something that I know to be factual, something that I've read in a bill and I'm looking at it. Like when we're talking about this government shutdown, right? And the whole argument is that the Democrats are trying to give free healthcare to illegal. And I just watched a clip from The View, which we all know is just a hot mess, okay? And Whoopi Goldberg is like, this is not true.
Yes, I believe you've sitting down. CNN Van Jones can't hide his disappointment as he considered the Schumer shutdown of healthcare will inevitably backfire on the Democrat. But it is funny to see these people fight this way. You can't show your base like I'm strong to the detriment of the whole country. At a certain point, when I see them pumping high, like, oh, we are doing something great, I was impressed. Van Jones is calling that out. It is impressive to see how these people are dumb sometimes. Schumer is there protecting his position because of AIC. At a certain point, this might actually not work out the way they expect.
And I just watched a clip from The View, which we all know is just a hot mess, okay? And Whoopi Goldberg is like, this is not true. This is not true that they are not giving. And she says it so passionately and the audience is clapping. And you sit there and look at the bill and
people keep bitching that the left isn't doing anything, the right is doing all that. The bottom line is the left is doing what it can. This was the thing they felt they could do. And, you got to tip your hat to them because they don't have the majority. They don't have enough to even fight. So they're trying to do anything they can. And quite honestly, I'm sorry, this is on the right.
Yes,
this is on, I have to say, for me, this is...
And you sit there and look at the bill and you clearly see that the Republicans, the illegal are already receiving free health care, okay? When Donald Trump took office, they rolled that back and canceled those programs. So the verbiage in the bill is saying the Democrats are asking to roll that back. By definition, if you roll that back, you're going to be reinstating illegals onto Medicaid. And so they love to play with words. I watched another CNN commentator, Scott Jennings, shout out to Scott, being the voice of reason every single day when the rest of the people on CNN are just insufferable. Scott says, okay, they're trying to give free healthcare to illegal immigrants. And the young Black American guy, I don't know his name, but he says, no, not illegal, undocumented citizens. That is an oxymoron. What are you talking about? Like, they're constantly trying to change words, change the meaning of words, play these mind games, these tricks. Every time they're asked, are you trying to give free healthcare to illegals? They say, no, we are trying to give healthcare to everybody. Anybody who is thinking clearly can see this manipulation. And so it just dawned on me. I grew up in Detroit, and I can tell you unequivocally, the majority of people, at least that I knew of, They were not participating in their local elections. They were not, going to pick their city councilmen. It was always, okay, there's a president, it's time to vote. And then so much happens on a local level, and most people across the country are not involved in their local politics. They are not reading the bills. They are not following their politicians to see if they're actually doing what they say they're going to do. This happens with Gavin Newsom a lot here in California. Right now, there is a censorship bill sitting on his desk waiting to be signed that would censor Californians. But you had all of Hollywood.
Yes, I don't know why a lot of people waste time on the view, like struggling to see if they can spew out facts sometimes. It's crazy. You will not see that. Looking at this show, it's just a Democrat something. Yeah. Despite the struggle to make it balanced, like bringing in a consecutive who is actually not really a consecutive to balance up the show. They don't take up real people, real consecutive to stand on this show. I believe if they do that, that will be the best decision because a lot of people might start watching in. Looking at what Whoopi said here, you can see it's a flat out lie. She will always play the card like, oh, the blame is on Gov, which to me, people who understand exactly what is going on, they don't see it that way. Very impossible. I was glad that Van Jones at the beginning of this video saw it differently, but the view sitting here, they will spew this anyway.
The majority of Americans are not active. They are not informed. They do not follow their politicians. They don't read bills. They don't understand civics. They don't understand how government works. And they just get online saying things. Even people who are on reputable news networks. How do you get a job and say things like not elite but undocumented citizens? Who hired this guy? And these are the people that are literally giving information to the masses. And so many people believe the news. When they expect that when you see someone on TV who's on a news network, that they are telling them the truth. And this is how the mass brainwashing has happened. And these people need to be held accountable. They cannot continue to do this. This is why all of these networks are constantly losing their defamation lawsuits, because they're liars. And I wonder, does Whoopi Goldberg really believe that? Like, is she that uninformed, or is she just playing the game?
She's right. For some time, if I'm watching videos like this, I always have two ways, the way I look at them. Someone watching MNBC and CNN, they think differently. That is what I notice for the little time I have been here. When they now talk about real issues like this, they will be spewing out things that are irrelevant because they don't understand exactly what is going on. They get their news from CNN and MNBC. It's concerning, right? I put out this video about B a few hours ago for the people who never saw that B was yet defending Trump.
The only reason I would not accept an invitation is because I see no, it's a long flight. And I see no,
Really? You mean
I don't think that I
Castro
would,
and Hugo Chavez, but not the President of the United States?
yeah, I saw good results come out of some of those things in terms of
You do realize
agendas
the
that I had. I don't think that there's anything that I would, I just personally
know.
wouldn't trust anything that was said in the room, including the personality.
It's not a matter of trusting it. It's a matter of seeing it, matter of experiencing, matter of knowing it.
Yeah, it's an
More
interesting.
knowledge. It's like saying I don't want this medical test because I don't want to know. I want to know.
Yeah,
I
fair
want
enough.
to. Okay.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, I mean,
I have some good friends that are on.
I said this many times
Work
within the
close to
piece
me.
when I did it, that like it's up to, I'm just giving you the report. It's up to you to make the decision. Who do you think is the real guy? I'm telling you, there's a very different guy behind closed doors in a different setting.
I want to appreciate people that are constantly supporting me, sharing out my videos. If you are a new subscriber, my name is Ransom. Please continue to support, share out the videos because I work non-stop bringing you update from different directions. As of the short clips you see at the end of this video, that is for the YT algorithm. You can end here.
Is next year the wedding?
And that we needed to play, and I think it's at 31. She cannot stand him, Glenn. J.D. Vance should be the next president of the United States. If you want to serve in the a bare minimum of fitness.
Give interviews, I don't.
Right. At the moment.
Yeah. President Obama
Is blatant censorship.
Because he says he has a team of fact checkers.
The FCC.
I want them to stop fooling around with my right to say what I feel.
Americans, it's a part of who we are.
because that is really something that didn't happen before.
Does anybody else watch The View? Because I think there's...
I'm going to say one.
Look, there are certain rules of free speech that we must all abide by. But in case anyone needs a
Right to have a television show where he lies his ass off to the American people.
There are repercussions to spreading lies.
Somebody to get up there, not
all the same people that are in these polite.
Disagree with what Gavin Newsom said that he doesn't.
Dave Chappelle. He's not wrong.